Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching and whenever you're watching from the 214 Sports Show. I'm your host, TJ Krulwitz. I'm alongside my other host, Joseph Duffy. This is episode 60 of the 214 Sports Show, Everything Dallas Sports. And it will be the Antoine Russell episode. I don't know if any of you puck knowers know this, but Antoine Russell, most notably known for being number 21 for the Stars between the mid 2010s. But if you didn't know, before they rebranded to the Victory Green, the old jerseys, which were one of the worst rebrands of all time, we all know that. Not saying this to the last jerseys. I'm saying the old retro jerseys to those just plain black jerseys. We all know what I'm talking about. But he wore number 60 before he was number 21. So this is the Antoine Roussel episode, the young Antoine Roussel episode. But anyways, I'm getting caught up. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm doing swell, Thomas. It's been a been an interesting past few weeks. Of course, in Dallas sports, free agency is off and running. Um, I wish that the Cowboys were showing signs of life, but I guess they want to only go for guys who are not as much of a risk. So we'll talk about it in a few minutes.
Oh yeah, we will talk about plenty of the Dallas Cowboys free agency start. We'll also talk a little bit about the Dallas Mavericks, of course. Should they be tanking? Or should they keep trying to win? Klay Thompson thinks they should keep trying to win, so we'll discuss that. We'll also talk about Mikko Rantanen's debut for the Dallas Stars. Are the Stars favorites for the Stanley Cup Finals? We don't know. Obviously, it's pretty tough to tell, but they are doing pretty good. And then lastly, well, actually, no, that's it. We're not going to talk about the Rangers, but opening day is creeping up on us, so be on the lookout for some more Rangers content. But to start off this video, or this podcast, I'm going to talk about on today's date something that I always like to bring some good energy into this episode. This one's going to go way, 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 way back on March 13th, 1998. The Dallas Stars win against the Anaheim Ducks. Back then, the Mighty Ducks by a final score of 6-3, led by a Joe Nieuwendyk hat trick. I believe he actually had 4 goals, not three. So I guess a golden sombrero. But this game, not known for his hat trick or golden sombrero, the game was most notably known for being more of a boxing match than a hockey game. The team combined for 187 penalty minutes and had multiple brawls in the third period, leading to the Mighty Ducks only having 3 players not ejected or serving penalties with 3 minutes left in the game. It started with a Craig Ludwig elbow to the face of a Mighty Ducks player. He was unconscious on the ice for 6 minutes while everybody fought. Um, but the Stars moved to 39-15-1 with about a month left in the season. The Stars would not win the Stanley Cup this season, but of course would finally hoist the cup the following year. Some of my favorite moments from this is that Brett Severin, I mean, he's the Stars analyst post and pregame for Victory Plus now. He was on the Mighty Ducks at this time, and he actually took out Sador, one of the Stars players back then. Um, just destroyed him in his fight. Of course, Brett Severin would join the Stars the next year and win the cup with them. Pretty funny to see him on the Ducks at the time, beating up a Stars player. And nevertheless, Sador, who was on the 1999 Stanley Cup team as well, one of his teammates. But if you haven't seen this, I'll put the link in the description of this video. It is crazy. They don't make hockey like they used to.
What was the point of them taking away the Mighty Ducks name?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Modern minimalism, you know.
Yeah, maybe,
We've
maybe
always
earlier,
known
even
about
even
that.
back then. Hot topic in the world of sports, minimalism.
The
Taking away
minimalism,
personality. Yeah. Even back
unbelievable.
then, 98.
The Stars, Charlotte Hornets, we go on and on. The
So many
Suns,
graphics and, logos and jerseys that are just not the same.
it's unbelievable. It is
Yeah.
it's tough. But yeah, no, I actually this actually led me to see if this was one of the biggest one of the most minutes, penalty minutes in an NHL game. Not even close. Not even close. Don't quote me on the exact number. I think it was 419 penalty minutes is the record, and it's between the Ottawa Senators and Philadelphia Flyers back in 2004. Um, that's kind of the reason why they don't fight as much. That game kind of changed the landscape of the game, kind of stopped the fighting a little bit. So yeah, no, interesting. I was like, come on, 187 penalty minutes. This has got to be
Yeah,
up there.
inflated. I was
Not
gonna
even
say like
close.
I was gonna say like I learned recently that fighting just doesn't happen as much in NHL like it used to because apparently like it was stuff like this, not every single game, but at least like in 35-40% of games, maybe
Mm.
even creeping up to 50. But the fact that 187 penalty minutes happen in the game is kind of insane. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
actually crazy.
Oh yeah. Absolutely wild game. Again, I'll put the video down in the description. Let's go ahead and start off with the Dallas Cowboys for our teams today. Um, Jerry Jones took National Napping Day apparently a little too seriously for the first day of free agency. Didn't make many moves, made a lot of re-signings, signed defensive tackle Solomon Thomas from the Jets to a 2-year deal, and also signed Javonte Williams, running back from the Denver Broncos. But those are the only two, as I believe, as of now, the only two players that Jerry Jones has signed from other teams. Not major deals. He lost out on Greenlaw, he lost out on Ward, and lost out on a couple other players. Not looking too bright for the Dallas Cowboys, as obviously this feels like it's every year for them, starting off in free agency. Um, so is Jerry Jones, do you think that the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, are they the biggest loser of NHL free agency so far?
I don't want to get too carried away because there are some teams really who just don't have a care, and it feels like that a lot of times with the Cowboys. I won't say they're the biggest loser, but for what we thought was going to happen, like these first 3 days, I'm a little disappointed for sure. I don't know if they have something planned, maybe signing, I don't know, Stephon Diggs is me talking crazy, or maybe signing Cooper Kupp. If not, they'll wait till the Rams release him or something, and they can possibly sign him. As for the time being, they could just trade him right now. The Rams can try to get a nice deal out of him real quick before he gets sent off. I don't know if they're planning for something like that because I don't know why else you'd restructure these deals, say with Dak or CD, if you're not planning on signing somebody. If not, you just gave up the money for that's being paid later on just for no reason. So I don't know what they're doing right now. I will say the Javonte Williams signing, I'm not exactly angry about that at all. I actually like that, especially for goal line situations, short yardage. He's a nice running back for that. Low key, he's had a very underwhelming career. I thought he'd really have a chance at having himself a really good year these past 2 seasons, but injuries, of course, have gotten in the way in Denver for him. But I do like this signing just to complement the running game. He's not exactly, a guy who bursts with speed, but he's a hard physical runner. And I'll take that for our running back room. Again, this should probably confirm that we're probably not going for Ashton Genty, probably at this point. That's probably like way out of the equation now. So I'll really take that signing. But as far as these other signings right now, I look at, Solomon Thomas. There's a meme that's gone around in Twitter saying if you're a former first rounder, you know what that means. I'm not gonna say it on the podcast, but it's just funny how that works out because as soon as I saw that, I was like, this is what these guys are gonna do for this free agency period yet again, huh? Another just slow start. Another year not really trying to go after these big time players. I knew they were probably not going to go after Miles Garrett. Solomon Thomas is okay. He's good for depth. You can never really have too many edge rushers. But then you look at the other guy they signed from the Saints. I'm trying to get his name right here. I believe it's Robert Jones. Not Robert Jones. He's an O lineman. But
Let's see that other player.
forgetting his name. I literally had it pulled up. But yeah, they acquired him from the Saints. And he looks all right. Again, he's another former first round pick. I don't know why I thought could have sworn I had his name literally right here.
That would be Peyton Turner.
Yeah,
1 year,
Peyton
3 million
Turner.
deal.
1 year, $3 million deal, 2 year deal for Solomon Thomas. Again, there's no risk in these deals. They're just going out and signing these guys. You look at the film of these guys, and they're not necessarily, crazy run stoppers. And so again, I'm wondering, are they really caring about this defense? Are they caring about improving this team? Because neither of these guys are improving the issue that has killed us these past, 5 years, really the past 2 decades, it's been stopping the run. I don't know if they're gonna go hard in the draft or something. If that's the plan, I sure hope. But none of these guys come close to what they've lost really in these past few seasons, since losing the talent to Dan Quinn and the Washington Commanders, or just letting other talent go. Jordan Lewis is gone too in this defense, which is absolutely stinks. I know he's gotten a lot of hate for this for his tenure here, but I really enjoyed his play. He played hard always. I can't really complain with that, and he always gave an effort. And so I'm gonna miss that guy as he went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I don't know what to expect in these next few days. I don't know if there's going to be a splash today while we're trying to chop this video up on a Wednesday morning. But man, this is very underwhelming. And I can't say I'm surprised because it happens dang near every single year. So,
Yeah, no, and you can't really be surprised at all. And I think that the draft is always have to be it always has to be kind of the Cowboys' savior in a sense that they have always done pretty good in the draft. We don't know about the results from last year yet. Tyler Guyton still has a lot of room to improve and a lot of time left, especially with Zach Martin retiring. Um, but I mean the Cowboys, man, they've always just been bargain buyers, but they've been deep in the bargain bin for the last decade. I don't know if everybody's seen the stat yet, but I'm sure a lot of people have. The Cowboys have not signed anybody over $6 million for the last decade. The last time that has happened was Greg Hardy in 2015. So I mean it's pretty bad. A lot of you would expect them to go hard after any wide receiver at this point. I think that, with Javonte Williams signed, I don't necessarily like the signing, like you said, but it's something that can help benefit the run game that we really don't have much of right now. Um, and so I think the wide receiver, I think that needs to be something that needs to be improved on. Cooper Kupp is, of course, the number one option right now. But of course, are the Cowboys even going to try to pay for that much of a player like that? Um, I mean, the Jonathan Mingo trade, it looked bad back then. Looks really, really, really bad now. There's just no depth. The Jalen Tolbert, CeeDee Lamb, and I believe, I mean, come on. I don't even want to think about the other players at this point. Kavate Turpin re-signed though, at least. A little bit too small to be a wide receiver. I think he's struggled in that sense though. Very speedy guy though, at least. Maybe Michael Gallup makes a return. I don't know. We've seen those news about Michael Gallup.
bro,
But I mean, where do you think Dallas could still improve in this free agency right now? Um, yeah, where do you think they can improve?
I don't know if there's still like any great edge rushers out there right now. I wish I had looked at the list before doing the podcast, but for sure, receiver. I would love for them to get a Cooper Kupp, for them to get a Stephon Diggs. Although, Stephon Diggs has had, controversy in the past for allegedly being a team cancer, kind of,
Perfect for the Cowboys.
yeah, for the Cowboys. And, at least he would
Here, give
join
him the
his brother.
contract.
At least he would join his brother. That's the thing. And he have his brother opposite of the field against him. And, he'd be a solid wide receiver too to complement CeeDee Lamb. And you had Amari Cooper, you let him go. Why not find a way to make up for it somewhat with a high a target demanding wide receiver too? How about that? A guy who can, demand the ball, who can make plays in open space like Stephon Diggs. And a guy like, if not, a guy like Cooper Kupp who can find a way to get open. May not have that same speed and cut like he used to in his best season where he had almost 2,000 receiving yards, but he can still, be a serviceable receiver in a new offense that's not with Sean McVay. So I think they can possibly make a splash in receiver. Doubt it happens. But if that's the position they want to go after, I think they have players out there who they can bring in if they really want to, since they restructure these contracts to seemingly do nothing so far.
Yeah. It's unreal that they would restructure these contracts. It feels like you have to feel like they're cooking something. But as we all know, it's the Cowboys. We can't really trust anything that they are doing. We can't trust anything in the background. Um, but I mean, again, you've mentioned Jordan Lewis. I think that that's a really, really big loss. If the Cowboys could stay healthy at quarterback, they seem like they can be all right. But of course, that's just a really, really hard thing to even predict at this point. I don't know which cornerbacks are still really available at this point. I'm kind of looking at the list. My goodness, could you imagine re-signing Stephon Gilmore? Um, but I mean, there's just not a lot of really good options out on the free agency market this year. And that's all right. I mean, that's perfectly right up the Cowboys' alley. They could sign a bargain player that can go out there and play if Diggs gets hurt or Deron Bland as well. Because both of them have had injury issues in the past, obviously now. Somebody, of course, that is going to be a guaranteed first rounder at this point, somebody that the Cowboys probably won't have great value at number 12 probably, but something that they might have to trade up or trade down for. Jahdae Barron from the University of Texas at Austin, a great
Would
cornerback,
love it.
somebody that I would love to have on the team, but of course, who knows? Another place I would say is linebacker. Um, it's a little bit there's a little bit of a depth issue there, and one of my main concerns is somebody like DeMarvion Overshone, coming back from his second torn ACL. Something that just doesn't sit right, especially with the injury history that the linebackers have had on the Dallas Cowboys, like Sean Lee, um, Leighton Vander Esch, and of course, most notably, what I'm thinking of is Jalen Smith, who was supposed to be a really good linebacker, had a great rookie season for us and fell off a cliff because of all his injuries. And hoping that that's, of course, not the case for DeMarvion Overshone, but you just never know. And I think that that's something that the Cowboys should prepare for.
They did re-sign Brian Anger. At least that's great news.
They just resigned Brian Anger, man. This special teams is our
I
greatest strength
Yeah, I will
on this
say
team right
third
now.
phase, third phase. Never forget the third phase. That's how you win games sometimes. But we also have to remember, like Rico Dowdle is technically not re-signed either. I don't know
Hmm.
why I'm assuming he is re-signed because
I know.
if they don't re-sign him, Javonte Williams is your number one, and then maybe they could be going for Ashton Jeanty. I don't know, but let's see how they approach Rico Dowdle because he really ended the second half of the season better than I anticipated. I did not expect that. He was a fantasy
Hmm.
monster also, but he also was great on the ground, 4.6 yards a carry towards the end of the year. So had 1,000 yard season as well on the ground. If not, maybe they can get J.K. Dobbins. I don't know. He's a good free agent running back right now too. Kind of had a rebirth, if you will, this past season.
Very true.
But there's a lot of I can't believe Calais Campbell is still playing. He's listed as a free agent too. If the Cowboys really want to go for another edge rusher, but I don't know about that. He's 38 years old. But Amari Cooper technically is a receiver too that they could get um, to bolster
Mhm.
that wide receiving core. So that'd be funny if he really did come back out if they traded him for a fifth rounder. But there's talent out there. It's not over for the Cowboys, but let's see if they're willing to, put their money out there and try to attract
Put the
somebody.
money where their mouth is, man. All in.
Yeah, pretty much like they say they'll be. Because what did they say like 2 weeks ago? Steven, he was like, we're selectively aggressive. Oh my Lord. It doesn't make any sense, man. Every single year we have to deal with this.
I know. I
Like,
mean, at least that was better than all in, but because it's a lot better than I mean, it's more reasonable, right? I mean, they were trying to reason with the fans. They're like, "Hey, we're not going all in this year."
yeah, he got
Like we've
caught
said in the past, we'll be selectively aggressive, which
selectively
just is like the
aggressive.
most PR word that I could ever think of. Um, so anyways, do you have anything else to say about the Dallas Cowboys as they keep on chugging through free agency and heading to the NFL draft?
Yeah, I think they're gonna, just try to focus on O-line too, because Zach Martin, that loss just it hurts now. It's gonna hurt more later on, but it still hurts me right now because he's been one of those solid pieces that has remained healthy for the majority of his career, has rarely gotten penalties. Obviously a Hall of Famer as well, but I don't know if they're gonna try to get even more O-line depth because they just signed that Robert Jones guy for a 1 year deal. Um, are they going to try to look more in the draft possibly and get another young offensive lineman? They could, but man, it's just a lot of work to do for this Cowboys team that seemingly looked like they were a few feet away from winning the Super Bowl about 2 years ago and having three straight 12-5 seasons. And now you look at, these defensive ends, it just looks so thin right now when you look at the depth chart. And I'm just like, man, where did this team go? Like, everybody seems like they're just gone. You have an old D-Law starting right now at at left DN.
Forget
You
he's on the
resign.
team sometimes.
Yeah, I swear he was kind of just vanished out of the injury last year, but Osa Odigizua got re-signed. I like that. But you look at the linebacker core, like you're saying. I mean, they got work to do. So I'm interested to see what happens in Dallas.
Yeah, and also by the way, number episode number 60, since we're going to talk about him, we might as well mention that Tyler Guyton was a candidate for this episode, as that is his number 60. But we got to see how he does this year before we do anything. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about the offensive line. Brock Hoffman going to probably replace Zach Martin at right guard. Um, actually a pretty decent replacement for the
He's good.
circumstances that Zach Martin was, having more
Sure.
Pro Bowls than holding penalties. You can't replace that. But Brock Hoffman is a pretty damn good replacement as it is. Terrence Steele at right tackle, Cooper Beebe at center. I think it's going to be left guard will be Tyler Guyton, left tackle will be Tyler Smith. Maybe those two will switch. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, it's again, I think that the line is going to really depend on how Tyler Guyton does this year. Um, if he can stay with the non-holding penalties, and the false starts that kind of riddled his season last year. I think this team can. I think this offensive line will be at least decent and not bad like they were um, last year. I actually can't remember how they did last year. I'm sorry, but I do remember, of course, it was a little bit tough for some time. Everything was tough for the Cowboys last year. So, um, anyways, let's move on to the Dallas Mavericks. Before we get to the Dallas Mavericks, though, we do have a little game of Pirtle to play. I've been gonna get a little competitive with Pirtle recently. It's tough, man. Sometimes they'll give you I mean, they could give you Victor Wembanyama, and then the next day they'll give you somebody who's averaging 3 minutes per game, and you'll never know they were in the league.
I think we should go with we're starting
The
with the
White
Maverick,
Powell.
right?
What's up?
We're starting with the Maverick, right?
Yeah,
You can go Dwight Powell.
it's always the White Powell. Man, that would be so legendary.
Did Dwight
West
Powell get hit in the face today?
Ford, old guy. This is LeBron.
They would
Okay.
never. They would never. Pacific Conference, smaller than 6'9". Okay, we're looking at 6'8" here.
Yep.
6'8", let's say center. And we can say yeah, probably not center. Probably small forward, I bet.
Yeah, it's looking like guard forward, maybe. I don't know. Forward, it's not forward center. It's guard
Yeah.
forward, 6'8".
Approximately,
Somebody
yeah. Jeff.
old and oh my gosh. Wait, who is this? It's not
Jeff is
James. Is it
Jeff
James Harden?
Green? Is Jeff Green in the Pacific Conference? No, he's on the Rockets, isn't he?
It's not James Harden because he's number one and he's not 6'8", obviously.
PJ Tucker? Is he in the Pacific Conference?
PJ Tucker in the Pacific Conference. Is he on the Clippers?
He just got moved, bro.
But he's older, I think, right? He's not.
What the? It doesn't even exist in their
You
system.
got to do this. Come on, man. So we still haven't fixed it.
Oh, that's on me.
Toronto, that's bad.
I sold.
Um, I don't think this is somebody on the Kings unless it's DeMar DeRozan. Actually, I think it's DeMar DeRozan.
Probably. Oh
No,
my Lord.
no.
6'7", 6'8".
Wait,
Jeez,
why
DeMar's
don't?
35.
So
Wow.
Clippers, Suns, or Warriors.
Not even a king. Uh,
We can. I
older
mean, I
than
wanted to say
35.
Kevin Durant, really, to be honest, but he's like 6'10". He's not 6'8", unless they're doing this bullshit stats that
Draymond?
they
Draymond's not
used
that
to.
old, is he? He's not that old. He's not that old.
Oh, he's
He's not older than 35. No way.
35. Damn, man. I'm thinking
No,
it's got
not
to
a
be
Warriors. It's
Suns. I don't
Clippers.
think it's
Oh, it's
Clippers.
Suns. Who's the old guy in the Suns?
Durant. I don't.
Ah,
I don't
okay.
know if it's
But
Durant.
he's not, yeah, he's not shorter than 6'10". That's the problem. No, he's
All right,
6'11". Okay, it's a Clipper.
36 on the Clippers. Who the hell is 36 on the Clippers? Man, this makes me feel like such a casual.
What
So
in
they're
the
number 34,
world?
number 33. Is this just Kawhi Leonard?
Oh
He's
my.
what
Is
number
he
is he
30?
again?
Is he 36? There's no way he's
There's just
36.
no way he is. I mean, it has to
Mm,
be. So who's from? There's no way he's 36. I really don't want to. I really don't want to guess him. I mean, so dude, this is so
this is
hard.
bad.
This is
Clippers.
actually tough. I don't know why I can't think of it. Should we show the
Old,
silhouette?
yeah, go ahead. Old man on the Clippers. That is not helping.
Oh my gosh. I'm blanking, man.
Oh my goodness. Old guy on the Clippers.
Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Somebody's screaming at the TV or at their device. Hold on.
Oh man.
This is bad. This is bad. We got to guess somebody. It's
They weren't on the playoff roster if they were on the team, right? Last year? Oh, because I don't remember them going against someone this old on the Clippers.
some old dudes on the team.
Oh my Lord.
I'm just gonna put Kawhi Leonard just to confirm it's the Clippers.
Yeah.
33. 34 or
Got one more.
33
Got one
on the
more.
Clippers. Do we throw in the towel here? This is so bad. I feel like 36 years old, we should get this. Somebody, I mean, that's somebody around the 2010s draft. 2007 was Durant.
I got no clue. It can't be hard and like,
No, it's not Harden.
yeah.
Oh man.
Dude, what?
All right.
Is it a big?
I think we throw in the towel. This is awful. This is sad. Ben Simmons.
Oh, yeah, that this team is Cam Christie. That literally looks like Max Christie.
Oh, you know who it is? I know
Batum?
exactly who this
Batum?
is. Oh no. Fourth quarter.
Yeah, Batum. Okay.
How could we forget about Batum?
Yeah. Clippers legend.
This is why I'm a casual.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter yelling why one of the greatest bars.
We
Anyways, so
we.
the, so the Dallas Mavericks, let me oh, come on. Sorry. Screen sharing. All right, so let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks now. Let's get serious because this isn't a joke. All right. They're sitting at 33 and 32. You might say that I'm wrong, and that's because I am wrong. We have not seen Wednesday night's game against the San Antonio Spurs. They have this two-game series against the Spurs. Mavericks won the first game on Monday night. We don't know the result on Wednesday night. They won Monday by a final score 133 to 129. These players, man, they're really balling out there. They're trying their best with the circumstances that they have had. Spencer Dinwiddie, Klay Thompson, Kessler Edwards, and Najee Marshall all nodding over 20 points in this game. They're running an eight-man rotation. People like Najee Marshall almost averaging 40 minutes a game. Klay Thompson has been averaging more minutes than he has seen almost all season at this point. That's a joke, obviously. He's been one of the only healthy players on this roster. So,
Isn't
uh,
that ironic?
I know, right?
I mean, he's dealt with all those injuries and he has been, almost spared. He's been the healthiest. Oh
I
my
think it's
Lord.
I think the supernatural power that's been cursing the Mavericks has given Klay Thompson some grace because he made his decision in the offseason in good spirits and in good faith, knowing that he was making the right decision, joining a team that just made the finals with a generational 25-year-old star and an amazing starting lineup that you would never see again, probably for the Dallas Mavericks. And now it's all gone. Not one of those players are healthy or on the team anymore. Um, so I think they've spared Klay Thompson in the sense that and hopefully spared him. Season's not over yet. But that does actually bring me up to this next point because he says that he still believes in this team. This is coming off a week after his dad went on a podcast and said that he's in purgatory right now. Michael Thompson, NBA legend. Um, so do you think that this is a tough debate? Obviously, the Dallas Mavericks are not winning anything this year. Nico's vision of winning and defense winning championships is not coming true this year. Um, as the Lakers are in the second seed of the Western Conference. Um, so do you think that the Mavericks should try to lose? Do you think that it's tanking time?
Honestly, I mean, they're sitting at 500 with about 16 games to go. I feel like if they were to tank, it's not going to do them any good. I mean, if they
Oh,
were
Cooper
to,
Flag, Ace Bailey, come on.
but like, if you were to lose, think about like the next 16 games in a row, you're only like, sitting at 33 and 49. And so it's like you're not going to have like a lottery chance really with that record, are you? Like, is it going to be really a chance for you to be one of the worst teams in the top 14? I don't know. Again, NBA lottery rules are different than the generic rules that you find in the NFL. Like everybody has a chance if your record is trash. But, there's no guarantee ever in the NBA. So as you sit right now at the 10th place spot in the West, you have a chance to, compete in the play-in. Uh, I know your team's banged up. You might as well give it a shot. Like, I don't understand why you should, intentionally lose these next few games because there's no way like their chances for a lottery pick improve that greatly. I don't think that, and don't think that personally because they're already sitting at 500 as we stand in the middle of March. So if they want to, it's too late. They should have committed to it at least 2 or 3 weeks ago when everybody started dropping like flies. So I think it's a little too late personally.
Well, let me just point out a quick point for you, Joe. All right. So Dirk Nowitzki, 21 years with the team, star, face of the franchise, white.
I didn't know he was white. Thank you.
Luca, the next face of the franchise, was on the team for 6 years until that bum Nico traded him. White. You see where I'm going with this?
Please, please.
Cooper Flag.
I say you're doing the tank for another white star in Dallas. We will be there.
It makes sense. All right.
It does, but like he's probably returning. Like he's probably going back to
Which
Duke.
is crazy. It's so stupid.
Hey,
These players have this leverage saying that they don't want to play for the Hornets or Wizards. Like they're going to be bad next year.
hey, within I he said
You know?
that meme that's like we're gonna be right back here, man. You can escape us, a little bit. We're still gonna be trash.
Yeah, but I mean, it brings up a good point that the Dallas Mavericks, as they've been the most unluckiest team in the last few months. It shouldn't be expected that the Mavs will all of a sudden find a pot of gold and win the lottery or something like that if they were to miss the playoffs. Because, I mean, this is actually, I believe we are one of only a few teams, and if not, we are the only team that have had no luck in the lottery in its entire history. We have not moved up from our projected spot in the lottery our entire history. I don't think it's changing this year. We could say that there's a chance. All right. There's always a chance. All right. But that's just losers mentality. We're not making it. But I mean, I, I I just really think that the only thing that they can do is tank at this point. I think that that's the only thing. I mean, there's just no point in making the playoffs. You see how, unfortunately, missing the playoffs kind of not really tanking. They're trying to make the playoffs, but in the end, they started tanking in the end of the season a few years ago when they didn't make the play-ins. You saw how that, even when they didn't move up, they got Derek Lively at the number 12 pick. Amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Other than his health issues, he could be a future all-star. Somebody that I mean, some people were comparing him to the next Giannis in the preseason this year, which obviously is way blown out of proportion. But I mean, look, I think no matter what, the lottery is more important than the little, I don't know, the little mental win or the of making the play-ins and losing to the Luka-led Lakers in the first round.
Boy, interesting situation because it's honestly amazing this team is sitting at 500 right now. It really is amazing because they shouldn't have won that Spurs game. Um, I like how Jason Kidd was basically saying. It's hard to, play these guys and look to the bench and, say like you basically had to keep playing in the game because I got nobody else. I really got nobody else who I can put in for you. Very sad,
It is
but
very sad.
very sad.
I have a
But
hard time believing anything Jason Kidd says though at this time.
not even a
So
year ago, this team was in the finals. Not
nine
even a
months
year.
ago, 9 months ago, we're in the finals, and Nico Harrison turned that into a rebuild around Max Christie in 9 months. This is a generational letdown by our
I
GM,
don't
who will probably still be on the team until he resigns. I mean, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
future president of the Lakers, I fear.
Unfortunately, it's just like at this point, it's just a safety reason. Like, why are you still in Dallas? Like, even for like, I don't understand. You can't even go outside. You're sitting in the freaking tunnel
Oh
for
yeah,
home
he's always
games.
standing or sitting in that little tunnel every time.
Yeah,
Just there's always the pic of him peeking his head like in that little tunnel.
it's like a
Oh.
safety reason at this point for you and your family, Nico. Like, you got to move out of Dallas. It's just, I mean, you have ruined this franchise. I don't want anything to get more ugly. All right. You got to leave.
He's got to work remotely.
He's got to work remotely, man. So, anyways, I do want to just bring up just a quick little second. The Lakers fans complaining about Luka's whistle, and they're like, "Man, as soon as he joined the Lakers, he's gotten the worst whistle in the league. Like the league is against you. Like the league's against you." I just had to point that out. Horrible. We all knew that his whistle was the worst in the league. All right. I don't know.
And
Just
by the way, get better enforcers. How about that? If you don't want him to get beat up, how about you protect him? How about you get some guys who can
yeah,
actually like step in and not let it happen again, like PJ Washington or Derrick
yeah.
Jones Jr.
They could
Any
trade
of
for
those,
PJ Washington. They'll
yeah,
probably
they
give
really
up
could.
Christian Wood.
Yeah, man. I
Christian
mean,
Wood, second
yeah,
round pick, conditional second round pick, trade swap.
conditional with cash.
Mikko, call it a day.
Give him a million on top of it.
It's unbelievable. They do need to get some enforcers, I guess. Maybe LeBron should have gone in there. You think anybody's fighting LeBron except for Isaiah Stewart?
Oh yeah, that crazy dude. Who his only highlights, by the way, are him fighting. I never seen a clip of him just making some crazy three or like a crossover, hezzy step back, up and under. No, nothing.
I saw somebody, I saw Quincy Acey highlight reel last night, believe it or not. Somebody
I love you.
called
I love Quincy
it
Acey.
called it the prison ball highlight mixtape. Look, and somebody was like, they don't make him like they do. Quincy Acey was the last goon in the league, which, by the way,
You
we're
can't even
saying
say that
in
anymore. Hey
I know.
yo, hey
But
yo.
I know. Let's take it back. Let's go back to like 2013, all right? This is the actual meaning of that word. And I'm like, dude, are we forgetting about Isaiah Stewart? He's
That
worse than
yeah.
Quincy Acey. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah.
Quincy Acey was pretty crazy. He was a pretty crazy guy.
That
Going
reel. I don't know if
places.
you're
And from
watching.
Baylor, nevertheless.
Oh yeah.
A Baylor
I
grad.
forgot he did go to Baylor.
Yep.
I don't know if it's the same one you watched, but it's that one someone made the highlight reel of him. Like
There's
it's like
multiple.
it's oh yeah, there's multiple. It's the one with like the commentary in the beginning, then he just yells out of nowhere, and then the music starts. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know if you watched the same one, but it's
I don't
hilarious.
think that was the one that I watched.
Well, Quincy Acey, he was funny. He was
Mavericks
fun.
legend too. He was
He
on the
was fun
Mavs
in
for a little bit.
2K. Yeah, for sure.
And now transitioning into the one hopeful team of the Metroplex, the Dallas Stars. They're having a little bit of a spring break of themselves right now. I mean, I'm not on spring break. We're not on spring break till next week, but they're having like a 5 day rest. They played last time on Sunday. Next game they're gonna play is on Friday, and that game on Friday, a very, very, very important game against the Winnipeg Jets. I believe they're 6 games behind the the Jets right now. Let me look this up real quick. I don't want to be wrong. So they are 8 games behind the New York Jets with 2 games in play for the Dallas Stars. Um, I think that this was an interesting point that I was watching NHL on TNT, which, I'm kind of indifferent on NHL on TNT. I think Paul Bijonet is I'm not a big fan of him. I think he tries too hard to beat
The,
Charles
the
Barkley or
Chuck of
Shaq.
NHL. Yeah.
Um, But I do think that they're a good cast. But they were saying just a few weeks ago that nobody's catching up to the Jets in the Central Division. I think they're wrong. I think with 2 games in play for the Dallas Stars, how they are playing recently, how the Jets have been kind of swaying back and forth with good and bad, and also um, just having 2 games left against the Jets, this game on Friday and then a game in April in Dallas. I think that there's a very good chance that the Dallas Stars can get the top of the Central Division. Um, it's going to have to come down to the health. Of course, Rupe Hintz went down in that Edmonton Oilers game on Saturday, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on because of Mikko Rantanen, who is now a Dallas Star. We have not talked about that on this podcast.
Oh
Um,
God.
but you're talking about, I mean, Dallas teams with their injury just can't catch any break, especially with the Stars and getting pucks to the face. Seen a lot of people talk about maybe making the visors all the way down like they do in college hockey. Um, but hence Heiskanen and Sagan all need to come back before the playoffs, and hopefully they can come back before that game in April against Winnipeg to help with this team. Um, but I think, I mean, they're rolling and they have a tough schedule ahead of them, but once they get back on at home, they'll have some easy games. They play against the Ducks, the Flyers. They'll have the Wild, which could be a tough game, but they've been sliding recently. The Predators, the Penguins, the Canucks, Utah. They have a lot of teams left at home that could be easy 2 points for them. Hopefully, they can keep it going at home. They've played really good at home, especially as of late. So. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident in them. The Central Division, of course, has to be the hardest division in hockey with the Avalanche. They also got Brock Nelson, which is a great get for them. They were aggressive go-getters at the deadline, and they look really, really good. And then you got the Jets, who got Luke Shen, the defensive man, somebody that I wanted the Stars to go get. They're looking really good. They bolstered up in the trade deadline too. It's unfortunate that the Stars are the third best team in the league points wise, and they're still second in their division. Very unlucky. Um, but I just want to say, I think that the Avalanche and Stars, I said this on our Student Org college crossfire show last year, and I was wrong, but I thought I was almost right. And I'm going to say it again this year because I think I might be right again. And I could be very wrong again, but I think might be right.
Oh, come on, bro. Oh,
I
stand on
said
something.
I said the Avalanche and the Stars. Whoever won that series in the second round, this was before the regular season ended. It said the Stars and Avalanche they'll meet in the second round, and whoever wins that will go to the Stanley Cup Finals. I was close. It was the Edmonton
Yeah.
Oilers, obviously. I think that's true again. Winnipeg will hate me for this, but I just don't believe in Winnipeg. I don't believe in Winnipeg. I need to see them win in the playoffs, obviously. It's kind of like they are very much the Oklahoma City Thunder of the NHL, and the fact that they haven't proven anything, but they are regular season monsters and by far the statistical best team in the league. And so we'll see how that goes. Former Stars head coach Rick Bowness is now behind the bench for the Winnipeg Jets, which also gives me kind of an um, added skepticism about their run in the playoffs.
I know how you feel about Rick Bonus.
So,
I already know.
so I mean, I really do think that the Avalanche and the Stars are the 2 best teams in the West. You can quote me on that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I do think that that's right. Edmonton, of course, can come in and sneak through. The Stars can struggle against Edmonton. Whenever a team is that top heavy, they can carry in a best of 7 series. That's not a very long series, obviously. You have a top heavy line that just catches fire at the right time, a goalie that catches fire at the right time, like Stuart Skinner did last year. They can easily win. But the Stars and Avalanche to me are the 2 best teams in the West right now. So, anyways,
Man, oh man, let's
should we
get to the
talk about
the
Mikko
splash of
Rantanen?
this past Friday.
Jim Nill, my goat.
There's four
Jim Nill.
teams that I'll play for, sir, and you're not one of them.
Oh man. Yeah, I get the resentment that Carolina has on Mikko Rantanen right now. I mean, I kind of get the resentment that Colorado has too. But look, man, he made the state income tax decision that he would make a lot more money playing in
Business
Dallas than he would
decision.
in Colorado. It's a business decision, man. And he's got the Finnish mafia. Some people have called us Helsinki South at this point now. Five Finnish players on the team, the most in the NHL. You got Lindell, Heiskanen, please come back from injury. Rupe Hintz, please come back from injury as well. Mikhail Granlund, who was also recently acquired, and then now Mikko Rantanen. Um, this is a play that will, I think, really pay dividends for the Stars. Logan Stankoven was somebody that a lot of people really liked. In my opinion, I think this was one of the best things that they could have. I thought Carolina had Nico at in the front office for this trade. Logan Stankoven, a couple first round picks and a couple third rounds. I think Stankoven will be good, but I don't think he'll be Mikko Radnan good. I think this is a great acquisition. I think this is a cup winning move. I don't want to put that pressure on them yet, but they are favorites to win the Stanley Cup Finals. And man, would that just help Dallas sports so much at the moment
It'd
right
be it'd
now.
be healing.
It would be so healing. But I do want to say Mikko Rantanen in his first few games already getting, I believe, 3 points in these two games. He averages over, let me see real quick. I mean, he averages about 1.13 per game, points per game in the postseason with the Avalanche and Hurricanes. Um, well, actually, no, that's 1.13 per game for the season, but he's also gone 1.14 in the playoffs. He's just a really good player. This is actually the highest points per game player involved in the deadline trade since Joe Chino went to Washington from Boston in 1994. A
Ah,
little hockey history
degenerated.
fact right there.
Joe Jano. Don't you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Don't you know Joe Jano?
don't you know? Um, so I mean, look, I for his first two games against Edmonton and um Vancouver, he just looked like, I mean, some people were saying that he had a lack of effort. I think it's just because he just looks like he makes the game so easy. I think that's what it is. I think that his puck maneuvering, something that I really liked about Stankoven. I wasn't the biggest fan about Stankoven, but something that I did like about him was that he was able to control the puck pretty well, especially for somebody at his size. Mikko Rantanen, obviously a lot bigger than Stankoven. He makes it look effortless out there. His puck maneuvering, his puck control is amazing. Of course, the Stars have always been kind of a team that has always had just a bunch of goal scorers that would average about, we had like, I think like 4 or 5 players have almost 30 or over 30 goals last year, but no one over 40 or 50. Mikko Rantanen's that guy who will get you over 40 goals in a season. I don't know if he'll do it this year. I think he's at 28 or 29 at this point, I believe 29. Um, I don't know if he'll get the 40, but if he does, that's somebody that the Stars have missed since Jamie Benn was the Art Ross winner, like in 2015. Um, and also Tyler Sagan. So I'm really hyped about this. Obviously, 8-year deal for him. Some people are complaining about the years. He's only 29. But I'm gonna try to get a Radnor jersey for sure.
Man, what an opportunity for the Stars team to really grow the fan base in Dallas. After, of course,
Absolutely.
not a tragedy, by the way, not a tragedy in the physical sense, a tragedy in the inept front offices that are in this Metroplex. And so having a guy like Jim Nell, who has been consistently an award-winning GM in the NHL, make moves like this, it's just like it's night and day from all the other front offices we've seen in Dallas. So great move, obviously, and it makes sense why the Stanley Cup favorites. And also in the Rangers, who we're not talking about this week, but they're second in World Series odds apparently right now. Um, so that's very interesting too. Those two teams are kind of carrying DFW, if you will, and they never
Absolutely.
really have had as much love. The Rangers for sure have had more love recently, but the Stars definitely have not, and they've deserved to have way more hype going into the Stanley Cup from the actual residents of DFW.
I agree. I think the Stanley Cup will be amazing. Unfortunately, if they don't win that Central Division against the Jets, looking like they're going to play Colorado in the first round. I hate the NHL playoff bracket because it's going to be Colorado and Dallas in that
Again.
first round unless Minnesota makes a miracle comeback. The Minneapolis Miracle. They actually play in St. Paul, so not really applicable here, um But I mean, look, it's going to be probably Colorado and Dallas in that first round if Dallas can't catch up to Winnipeg for that first seed in the Central Division, which just sucks because I hope that this is a very long run and Colorado is the team that poses the most threat to me right now. Um, Dallas 2-0 against Colorado in the recent playoff series in the last 5 years. Hopefully they can make it 3-0 if they play. It's looking a little likely right now. Looking more than 50% possible that it will be Colorado and Dallas in that first round. So that'll do it, unless you have any other comments about the Dallas Stars of this
No,
214 episode. Episode 60, the Antoine Russell and Tyler Guyton episode. We'll include him, man. I didn't
we'll
want to be
include him
so
for
harsh
now.
about him earlier this
He's got to
episode.
he's got to earn his stripes right here in the 214 Sports Show. You don't just get episode
You
titles,
don't get
Tyler.
the episode titles unless you're just like a super obscure number. Like, come on, man. I gotta find somebody else. But anyways, this will do it again for the 214 Sports Show this week. You can follow us on Twitter/X, on Instagram, and on TikTok at the 21 or at 214 Sports Show. Sorry. And then you can also like and subscribe, follow us, and share all of our videos where we post on YouTube and Spotify. And that would be at the 214 Sports Show. We really appreciate all the interaction that we get. We like to get back to all the people who comment on our videos, like our videos, subscribe. We really, really appreciate it. Um, and yeah, Joe, do you want to send out your socials real quick?
Yeah, for sure. Joseph underscore Duffy 99 on Instagram and X, formerly Twitter. Again, Joseph underscore Duffy 99. And then you can follow on TikTok, which I really don't post that much on, but at Joe underscore Duffy.
And then you can follow me on Twitter/X at TJ_Krillowitz and then on Instagram at TJ.Krillowitz. Once again, that'll do it for us at the 214 Sports Show this week. We'll see you next week. Have a great day.